Welcome guys, we're doing the midweek magic phantom sealed for the Brothers War. So let's get right into it. It's phantom sealed, you don't get to keep the cards unfortunately, but let's have a... This is my first look at Brothers War cards. We'll just start up here. Harbin, Vanguard, Aviator, 1 blue, 1 white, 3/2 flyer, legendary human soldier. So I have heard there's quite a few soldiers in this set. A lot of people making soldiers decks. So whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. I would say 5 soldiers is an incredibly large number of soldiers, but certainly that could be that's pretty good for a 2-drop. A 3/2 flyer for 2 mana is pretty amazing. Right, let's look at the red card. 2 red and 1. Aura enchantment, enchant creature. Charged creature gets +1/+1 and has flying haste, and for 1 mana this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's a dragon in addition to its other types, so basically it gets a form of fire breathing as well as flying and haste. Okay. When an enchanted creature dies, return Draconic Destiny to its owner's hand. Okay, so this card does have the problem of enchantment auras. You cast it on your creature and then somebody can instantly blow up that creature, so it fizzles. But otherwise, that does sound pretty good, and you get to... They don't have that instant speed removal. This can go back to your hand. Pretty powerful. Okay, we've got... I'm actually going to go down here and look at the black card. Gixian Puppeteer. Black and 3 for a 4/3 for Axiom Warlock. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So this is very reminiscent of another popular card that's going around at the moment. When Gixian Puppeteer dies, return another target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, okay. That seems really good. So really good with various black card draw effects, such as that 1 mana black creature, or even Blitz on your Tenacious Underdog, things like that. Seems pretty good. Let's have a look at these artifacts. So it looks like some of them are brown and some of them are sort of white or silver. Not sure what the difference means. So we have Sculpting Steel for 3 mana. You may have Sculpting Steel enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield. Well, this will be good if we have some other artifacts knocking around. I notice there are 2 different symbols, right? There's this has a line through the cog, and this sort of has looks like a plus in the almost, or a diamond in the middle of the cog. I guess it this was maybe it's one of them's Urza and one of them's Mishra. There we go. Right. So this has the line through it. Platoon Dispenser for 5 mana, and it's a 4/6 artifact creature. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more other creatures, draw a card. Then for 4 mana, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Okay. Unearth for 2 white and 2, which means return it from your graveyard to the battlefield with haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. Unearth only as a sorcery. Okay, so you can bring it back and sort of swing in with your 4/6, and maybe draw another card from it. Seems okay. but it's going to be very expensive to bring it back and make more soldiers, I suppose. Anyway, this seems very good. I wonder if we can make blue-white soldiers. We could copy this with sculpting steel as well. We also have Ramos, a dragon engine. Can this copy? I guess that can copy a legendary, and then it will go to the one of the legendaries will go to the graveyard. Yeah. Okay. So Ramos dragon engine costs 6. It's legendary artifact creature dragon. It's a 4/4 flying. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos dragon engine for each of that spell's colours. That's pretty good. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add 2 of each colour of mana. Activate only once each turn. I can turn it into 10 mana. Okay, yeah, that seems pretty cool. Says there's 2 more rares to look out for. I'm just going to double check everything's working okay. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to go through each colour, and I'm going to look for. I'm going to use the bread strategy. So, bread is an acronym. B stands for bombs. R stands for removal. E stands for evasion. And then you've got, I think, aggro and dross or filler. I guess aggro means you want enough 2-drops and 3-drops. Basically, you need curve fillers. Right. But yeah, we're looking for. I also like. It does mana fixing as well. I tend to put a bit of emphasis on mana fixing if I'm going more than 2 colours. Which in sealed you might gain some advantage from going 3 colours, just because your bombs may be spread out a little bit. Right, so we have military discipline, flash, and chunk creature. Okay, so it gives something first strike and +1 power. That's yeah, that's an okay combat trick. I think I tend to ignore combat tricks because it's a very it's a conditional form of removal. I'm looking for unconditional removal above all. Okay, recruitment officer, human soldier. So I wonder if almost everything in this set is a soldier, or half the things are. That's even a cleric soldier. Right, 1 mana. It's a 2/1, so that's a good rate. First of all, for 4 mana, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. It's a 2/1 for 1. And it can give you card advantage for 4 mana. Really, really good card. Deadly Riposte. 3 damage to target tapped creature and you gain 2 life. It's a bit of conditional removal, but I think it doesn't rely on me having a creature. And it doesn't, unless there's loads of vigilance creatures in this set, this should be a fine defensive removal spell. I think we consider that one. Recommission. So return target artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If a creature enters the battlefield this way, it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. That's only 2 mana for a reanimation spell. It's quite good. You've got that card selection of choosing. You might be able to choose from multiple different things in the graveyard, and you can choose the most appropriate thing, the most advantageous thing. That's kind of the power in this kind of card. I think we skip it though, because it relies on things going to the graveyard, which you can't always arrange very easily. Right, Airlift Chaplain. It's 3 mana for a 1/1 flying. When Airlift Chaplain enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Here we go. So if you have self-mill effects, that can make recommission and cards like it a bit better. So after you've milled 3 cards, you may put a plains card or a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 counter on Airlift Chaplain. Okay, so it can be it can end up as a 2/2 flyer for 3 mana, which is a pretty good rate, or it can give you a bit of card advantage. I think this is good. Prison Sentence. Right, enchantment aura, enchant creature. When prison sentence enters the battlefield, scry 2. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So this is basically pacifism. This is a very good effect to have in limited formats. And it's got this added bonus of scry 2 on there. The old pacifism used to cost 2, and this costs 3. But I think still very, very good removal. Union of the Third Path. 3 mana instant. Draw a card, then you gain life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Okay. For 3 mana. This is okay. This is sort of for a control deck with counter spells and things like that. It reminds me there was a card which was 2 mana, a 2 mana instant, gain 3 life, draw a card. And that was played in control decks. So this is okay, but it's not for every deck, I would say. We'll leave that for the moment. Warlord's Elite. 3 mana, you get a 4/4 human soldier. That's good so far. As an additional cost, to cast this spell, tap 2 untapped artifacts, creatures, and all lands you control. So effectively, it's like a 5 mana 4/4, but you can tap your creatures and artifacts. I call this quite a good card. The E in the bread acronym also stands for efficiency, so that's where you look at things like the level of power and toughness for the amount of mana you're spending. And I think I'd call this above rate, because you can tap 2 of these other things. So I think that's quite good. Yoshin Medic. It's a 1/4 lifelink. We've got a couple of these as well for 3 mana. A very defensive card. Sort of a bit of a wall, I suppose, for your for your control decks. So I'd say the power of this card is quite conditional. If you've got some maybe some life gain synergies, this is where this becomes useful. But we'll skip that for the moment. Scrapwork Cohort. Artifact creature soldier for 4 mana, and the reason it's in with the white stuff, it's got an unearth ability that costs white mana. Okay, so when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. So it's you get 2 creatures for 1, and you can unearth it, make another creature with it. Okay, I think that's quite good value overall for 1 card. Potentially getting 3 creatures out of it. Yep, I think that's okay. We have the Great Desert Prospector. Okay, 5 mana is for a 3/2. When Great Desert Prospector enters the battlefield, create a tap Power Stone token for each other creature you control. So we get to the Power Stones, which is a token artifact that adds a colorless mana. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. But reading between the lines, obviously, you use that for artifact spells, but you can use it to power abilities as well. So things like Unearth. So you don't just care about these if you've got artifacts. So that's potentially a very big amount of ramp you get out of this guy. I'd say it's interesting. I think because this guy's interesting, and I can't evaluate how strong he is. I think we'll think about this guy, because you might even be able to sacrifice those artifacts for something useful. The Platoon Dispenser is fantastic, so obviously we want that one. Combat Courier. 1 mana for a 1/1 construct. You can sacrifice it for 2 mana and draw a card. You can unearth it and then sacrifice it again for another card. Okay, I think that's fine. It's kind of like a chump blocker. You can eventually just dig 2 cards out of it. That seems good. I think you play that. So we'll move on to blue. I'll just highlight blue here. Weakstone's Subjugation, enchantment aura, enchant artifact or creature. When a Weakstone Subjugation enters the battlefield, you may pay 3. If you do, tap enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Okay, this is a removal card. Yeah, which is a very familiar removal card. That stops things untapping. I think one of the ones in the past that did this effect was called Thirst. That's all I can think of. Right, Phalagi Archaeologist. 2 mana for a 0/3 scout. And here's some more self-mill. So this enters the battlefield. You mill 3 cards. You may put a non-creature, non-land card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. Okay, if you don't, it gets a +1/+1 counter, becomes a 1/4. So quite a defensive stat line. Gets you a spell out of, or maybe an artifact or enchantment out of the graveyard. We're playing limited, so my deck is going to be probably 17 creatures. It'll just be full of creatures. And we just, generally speaking, you want to be playing quite aggressively. So I think we're not that concerned with this card. I think we'll skip this one. Thopter Mechanic, 2 mana for a 2/1. Human Artificer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Thopter Mechanic. First of all, that's pretty good. When Thopter Mechanic dies, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Okay. It reminds me of the mechanic from Ravnica Allegiance, where I think it's called Afterlife. Things would die and they'd leave behind 1/1 Spirit Flyers. But this is something that grows as well. Yeah, this just seems very good value indeed. I think we want that. Right, Zephyr Sentinel. Human Soldier for 2 mana. 2/1 flyer with flash. That's already quite good. When Zephyr Sentinel enters the battlefield, return up to 1 other target creature you control to its owner's hand. If it was a soldier, put a +1/+1 counter on Zephyr Sentinel. Okay, so that could be a 3/2 flyer, and it could protect one of your soldiers from a removal spell. That seems very good indeed. Definitely want that. Splitting the Power Stone, 3 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Create 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. If the sacrificed artifact was legendary, draw a card. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with Great Desert Prospector. So this guy can make a lot of Power Stones. This is a way of sacrificing artifacts. But all it does is it makes 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. And it's sorcery speed. I guess effectively it's like a ramp spell. It's maybe turning 1 Power Stone token into 2. But it's sorcery speed, it's a bit slow. You can only draw a card if you sack a legendary thing. You don't really want to do that usually. So I think I'm dubious on this card. I think we skip it for now. Stern Lesson, 3 mana, instant. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card, create a tapped Power Stone token. So this is much more like it. This is what you want. So you're unlikely to draw a card off splitting the Power Stone. But this thing is instant speed. You draw 2, you discard, and you get a bonus Power Stone token into the. So I think this is just its sort of ramp. It draws cards. It's good. Yeah, it puts stuff in the graveyard as well, which might be useful for you. Definitely include that one. Right, Third Path Savant. Human Wizard, 2/3 for 3. If you can pay 7 mana, you get to draw 2 cards. I think it's probably a little bit too expensive. I mean, in theory, this is card advantage in the long run. But there are some limits, I guess. But I think, yeah, maybe a 2/3 for 3 mana it's kind of bad, but maybe you include this. Maybe you include it. Okay, Urza's Rebuff, instant. 2 blue and 1, and this is counter target spell or tap up to 2 target creatures. So, yeah, basically it's a counter spell. It's basically removal. It's worth considering. Lat-Nam Adept for 4 mana. Human Wizard 3/3. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, that gets a +1/+1 counter. Yep, that's kind of threatening. I guess you're only getting 1/+1/+1 per turn. Mightstone's animation, enchantment aura, enchant artifact. When Mightstone's animation enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's good, so it replaces itself. Enchanted artifact is a creature with base power and toughness 4/4 in addition to its other types. You should be having a few artifacts lying around. So this can turn one of those power stones into a 4/4, and it's replacing itself when you play it, so you're getting to draw a card. So I think this is good. Desynchronize, 5 mana instant. Target non-land permanent owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library, and you scry 2. This is one of those expensive removal spells. I think this is probably fine. I think we consider this one. Then we've got Harbin, Vanguard Aviator, who's just fantastic because he's a 3/2 for 2 mana. 3/2 flyer for 2 mana is awesome. Just with with upside as well. And Ramos, of course, is fantastic. Right. So white and blue looking quite good. Already 37 cards out of 40, so we could probably add a few of these and make a quite a decent white-blue deck. We'll have a look at the other. I'm tempted to just kind of go with this and see how we do, but we ought to look at the other colours. Ashnod Flesh Mechanist. Nice. An actual Ashnod there. So that's a legendary human artificer for 1 black mana. It's a 1/1 death touch. Whenever Ashnod Flesh Mechanist attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, create a tap Power Stone token. Okay, cool. Can turn creatures into Power Stone tokens. For 5 mana, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. Okay. So it can make 3/3s later on out of creatures from the graveyard. Pretty good. The zombie artifact. Right. I think, for simplicity's sake, I won't add any more cards to what we have here just yet. I think if there's anything inspiring from black, red, and green, we might change the deck. Okay, Ashnod's Intervention. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains whenever this creature dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. Yep, it's quite nice. We've got Disfigure. That gives -2/-2. Dredging Claw. Its equipment. Creature gets +1 power and has menace. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may attach Dredging Claw to it. Oh, that's nice. Emergency Weld. Return target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. So that's just a raised dead effect, but with a bit of upside, you get a 1/1 token. Gixian Infiltrator. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Gixian Infiltrator. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit like our friend that black-red guy, the Body Dropper from New Capenna, had a similar ability. This could be very threatening indeed if you're in a treasure deck. This could get quite big. Then we've got Power Stone Fracture. There's an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Okay, that's fantastic, right? Because there's lots of Power Stones knocking around. Thraxodemon. 2/2. Sacrifice another creature or artifact, draw a card. Okay, a little bit of card draw on your 2/2 demon, so you have to tap that and spend 3 to get that effect. But it is potentially instant speed. Yep, that seems okay. So it's a little bit like the Dockside Chef, which pays 2 mana to sacrifice something and draw a card. Carrion Locust, 2/1 flyer for 3, so that's already good. This is definitely playable. When it enters the battlefield, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. If it was a creature, that player loses 1 life. So, a bit of graveyard hate. We have Gruesome Realization. Sorcery, choose 1. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, or creatures your opponent can control gets -1/-1 till end of turn. That's actually fantastic. I like that choice. I bet there's a lot of 1/1 tokens flying around, so this could be a really good sweeper, and against big creature decks, it's a bit more card draw. Killzone Acrobat, Human Soldier for 3, 3/2. Whenever Killzone Acrobat attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, Killzone Acrobat gains flying till the end of turn. Seems good. I don't know actually. That's quite expensive to just to give something flying. Sometimes you want sacrifice outlets in your deck though, so this is like I guess a cheap sacrifice outlet. Transmogrant Altar for 3. Artifact. Okay, for 1 black and tap, sacrifice a creature to add 3 colorless mana. For tap 2 and tap, sacrifice a creature, create a 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. Okay, and that's only sorcery speed. Okay, cool, yeah. So there's lots of sacrifice deck stuff here. But it's kind of mana intensive, this one. But I suppose this can make mana as well for you. The Gixian Puppeteer, yeah. So this is pretty amazing. This is the kind of thing you want to splash for in your deck. So I think because it's only 1 black, this might be splashable. It's a little bit like Shieldred, basically. If we can do a bit of card draw. We have Ravenous Gigamole. Mole Horror, I love it. Okay, 2/3 for 4. Enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. You may put a creature card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 counter on Ravenous Gigamole. So if you don't get card advantage, it's a 3/4 for 4. I think that's a good card. Okay, Trench Stalker, Beast Horror. 4/5 for 5. As long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Trench Stalker has Death Touch and Lifelink. That's pretty good. 4/5 Death Touch Lifelink. I've got 2 of those as well. Sort of tempting me now to play black. Right, black-white, Hero of the Dunes. Human Soldier, 3/2. When Hero of the Dunes enters the battlefield, return target artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Creatures you control with mana value 3 or less get +1/+0. Okay, that seems pretty good. That's a bit of card advantage. Get something straight back into play. Deathbloom Ritualist. Green, black, and 3. Elf Warlock. 3/5. Tap it to add X mana of any one colour, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Cool. So it looks like we're getting back to this undergrowth kind of mechanic where you get a payoff for the number of creatures you can put in your graveyard. That seems quite cool. Okay, let's get on to red. We have Goblin Blast Runner. Gets +2 power and it's menace as long as you sacrifice a permanent this turn. So, yeah, pretty good. 3/2. 3/2 menace, if you can maybe sacrifice a treasure token or something. Mishra's Research Desk. 1 mana artifact. Pay 1. Sacrifice Mishra's Research Desk. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. Till the end of the turn, your next turn, you may play that card. You can unearth it with red mana. Basically, a bit of extra card draw. Yeah, 2 mana to choose one of your top 2 cards, and you can unearth it. Not bad. Mishra's Domination, Aura for 2 mana, enchant creature. As long as you control enchanted creature, it gets +2/+2. Otherwise, it can't block. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's like a giant strength. Otherwise, you can stop something from blocking. So quite nice, quite an aggressive aura for the aggressive red deck. Rock Hunter, 3/1 reach for 2 mana. Yep, that's okay. It's gonna obviously die to that 1 damage sweeper potentially. That could be a bit of a problem. Sardian Cliff Stomper, 0/4 for 2. As long as it's your turn, you control 4 or more mountains. Sardian Cliff Stomper gets +X is 0, where X is the number of mountains you control. Okay, I think that's a pretty good 2-drop. So yeah, as long as you're playing a lot of mountains, you get your 4th mountain on turn 4. He's a 4/4 attacker. Doesn't do a lot on defense. Well, he's a 0/4 on defense. That's certainly interesting, but you really want to be playing mono red with this guy. Scrapwork Mutt for 2 mana. Is it 2/1? You can discard and draw a card. It's the battlefield, so a bit of looting, they call that. And you can unearth it for 1 red and 1. Yeah, cool. Another cheap source of card draw. To trigger all of those, draw your 2nd card at each turn effects. Right, we've got Whirling Strike. Instant, +2/0. Creature gets 1st strike and trample. Okay. We've seen this kind of thing before. Combat Trick. And Draconic Destiny. That's right. We saw this earlier. This seems pretty awesome. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, flying haste, and basically fire breathing, and it gets to be a dragon. Excavation Explosion. 3 damage to any target. Create a tap Power Stone token. Pretty good. It's only sorcery speed and 3 mana, but it also helps you ramp. That's important. That's good. That's definitely good. Mishra, Excavation Prodigy. Yeah. So one version of Mishra. We've got 2/1 for 3 mana with haste. 1 mana, tap, discard a card, draw a card. Whenever you discard 1 or more artifact cards, add 2 red mana. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay, you can loot. If you're discarding artifacts, you can kind of ramp. You can get an extra point of mana. Because you're spending 1 mana, but you're getting 2 red mana back. Seems alright. But yeah, it is 3 mana for a 2/1. Which isn't even though he's got haste, it's not particularly good. But yeah, another sort of card draw option. Right, Mishra's Onslaught, 4 mana for an instant. You choose one. Get 2 1/1 color soldier artifact creature tokens, or creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Interesting. So there's a very similar card in the Forgotten Realms set involving goblins. You'd get 2 1/1 goblins, or you can pump your team by +2 power. I have a feeling it only costs 3 mana as well. But still, I think that was a good card, and this is still a very good card for 4 mana. If you've got the go wide strategy. And it's nice that it's instant speed, so you can make the 2 1/1s at the end of your opponent's turn. Unleash Shell. 2 red and 3, instant speed. Deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker and 2 damage to that permanent's controller. Okay, that's some heavy duty removal. This is your classic 5 mana removal spell. And it's a good one. 5 damage, instant speed. It's pretty awesome actually. It's now this makes it quite tempting to play red. We've got the Excavation Explosion as well. Maybe we just, looking at red, we don't quite maybe have enough. Draconic Destiny's quite tempting. Okay, Phalagi Dragon Engine. 8 mana for a 5/5 flying. You can pay 2 to... You kind of have expensive fire breathing on this, okay. You can prototype it, and this is a new mechanic. You may cast this spell with different mana cost, color, power, and toughness. It keeps its abilities and types. Okay. So for 3 mana, you can play this as a 1/3 flying with expensive fire breathing. Interesting. So I guess it's another way to encourage us to play big creatures in our decks, because they've got a cheap option. We have Phalagi Vanguard for 4 mana. Human Soldier, first strike, 2/3 for 4 mana. 2/3 first strike for 4 mana. Not sure that's very good. Whenever Phalagi Vanguard or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Alright, so a lot of the time it can be a 4/3 first strike. So that's a bit of a different story. And it isn't happening once per turn. There's many that triggers every time you play a creature. So this could be pretty awesome, potentially. Though he doesn't have trample. It's still pretty good. We'll have a look at the green cards now. Okay, Haywire Might, 1 mana artifact creature insect. It's a 1/1. When Haywire Might dies, you gain 2 life. Okay. For 1 green, sacrifice Haywire Might. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Interesting. Okay, it's another little disenchant effect on a stick. And it's going to be pretty good in this set, I predict, because there's quite a few artifacts flying around. Okay, Argothian Sprite. Oh, I think this is a reprint from... No, maybe it's not a reprint. But the Argothian Sprite can't be blocked by artifact creatures. Is quite familiar. There's probably something very similar, something Argothian from an ancient set that had that ability. And you can spend 7 mana to put 2 +1/+1 counters on Argothian Sprite, so eventually you can pump it up. That could be quite a useful evasion ability in the set as well. Lots of 1/1 artifact chump blockers happening. So, not that bad. Decent Grizzly Bear. Gaia's Gift, 2 mana instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains reach, trample, hexproof, and indestructible until its turn. Okay. The whole shebang. So, this is cool. So this protects you from removal spells, targeted removal spells, most board wipes. You can block flying creatures. You get an evasion. You get trample, so you can pummel people with it. I think this is definitely a good combat trick, I would say. Not bad. Okay. Now we have Argothian Opportunist for 3 mana. 3/2 creature. Enter the battlefield and you make a tapped Power Stone token. Okay. It's reasonable. Couple of those. Alright, Burrowing Razormaw. 4/2 for 3 mana. When it dies, you mill 4 cards. Okay. Okay, cool. So a lot. I am enjoying the amount of potential self-mill action there is in this set. Fog of War, 3 mana, instant. You gain 1 life for each creature on the battlefield. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures with power 3 or less. Okay. So it is a new fog. It's good against go wide strategies. You end up gaining loads of life from this. We have Shoot Down. Exile target artifact enchantment or creature with flying for 4 mana, sorcery speed. Okay. That's a little more expensive, but it does, yeah, the previous version of this card cost 3 mana, but it didn't exile, and it was instant speed. But that ought to be good in this set. There's going to be quite a few targets. Philargy Excavation. Create 3 tap Power Stone tokens, you gain 3 life. Okay, that's, I mean, it's expensive, but it does quite a lot of ramp. Impossible to say whether that's going to be worthwhile at this point. You'd have to, yeah, you got to find some really good Power Stone payoffs, I would say. Now we've got, talking of Power Stone payoffs, yeah, you might want to ramp up to 10 mana because you've got Rust Goliath here, which is a 10/10 reach trample for 10 mana. You can prototype it for 2 green and 3, and it's a 3/5 reach trample. So, yeah. Pretty decent big creature. There's the Death Bloom Ritualist, which we looked at. Okay. So I think there's quite an ambitious self-mill deck you could make here. Right, we're just looking at the... yeah, we've seen all of these guys in multicoloured. These are the colourless cards, so it's going to include the lands as well, and the all the artifacts without colour requirements in their abilities. I'm very, very happy to see 2 Evolving Wilds. I think this means we can splash for our Gixian Puppeteer. So we'll pop those in. go through these. So Bonesaw, 0 mana. Equipped creature gets +1 power. And you can equip for 1. That's not too bad. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very cheap. And I think that's what you want out of equipment. Tokasia's Dig Site, land. Add 1 colourless, and for 3 mana you can Surveil, which that's from Guilds of Ravnica. It's an mechanic where you look at the top card of your library, and then you can put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest on top of your library in any order. That might be playable, unless it depends on our sort of colour requirements, but let's potentially add that. Aeronaut's Wings, 2 mana, equipped creature gets +1/0 and has flying. Yep. Yeah, it's a fairly cheap way of getting flying. I guess it costs 4 mana in total. Energy Refractor, 2 mana. When Energy Refractor enters the battlefield, draw a card. And then for 2 mana, you can add 1 mana of any colour. Well, good news, it replaces itself. Bad news, it's got that mana fixing tax, where it's 2 mana to get your mana. I know a lot of players do not like cards like this, but I think in Limited this is maybe okay. Right, we have the Millstone, the classic Millstone. So yeah, 2 mana, tap, target player mills 2 cards. I don't think we play it. Sigil of Valor, it's for 2 mana. Equipment artifact. Whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other creature you control. Okay, so sort of like a Keldon Warlord style ability, I think. But I think we skipped that one. Thran Power Suit, 2 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it, and has Ward 2. Equip for 2. It's that's all right. I like the Ward 2 on there. Pristine Talisman, 3 mana. Tap for 1 mana, and you gain 1 life. Okay. Bit of ramp, basically. Sculpting Steel. This is the one that can copy any artifact on the battlefield. So it sort of depends. In this deck, it'd be nice to copy Ramos or Platoon Dispenser. One of my opponent's thingies. We might play that. We also have Supply Drop, 3 mana, Flash, artifact. When Supply Drop enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Okay, it's like an artifact-based giant growth. For 4 mana, you can sacrifice it and draw a card. Yeah. Pretty cool. I don't hate this card. I think that's playable. Stone Retrieval Unit. When Stone Retrieval Unit enters the battlefield, create a tap power token. So this, yeah, is a 4 mana 2/3. Does a bit of ramp. Cool. Then we have Swiftgear Drake. 5 mana 2/4 flying haste. When Swiftgear Drake enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. So it's sort of yeah, does a bit of graveyard hate, I suppose. Maybe a 2/4 flyer for 5. Probably not all that good, to be honest. But if you need a flyer, this could do the job. I think yeah, I've been through all those. Don't know if there are some special lands in this set, but we will check. No, there are no lands. We've already had the Evolving Wilds. Okay, I'm going to call this end of part 1 and tinker with the deck a little bit. Okay, thanks for watching so far. And I'm back. So I've kept pretty much the same deck, but I've decided I kind of like our top end cards. We're going to try and ramp into these and win the game with these. So we're a little bit more mid-range, maybe a little bit more control. So I thought it might be right to play a Union of the Third Path, so this can draw us a card and gain us some life. So we might be the right kind of deck to play this, and I have dropped the Recruitment Officer, which is quite a good card, but I was realising we've gone quite low on 3-drop creatures, so it might not be the right card in this version of the deck. So, but I've not really thought too much about it, to be honest. I'm just going to play it and see how it goes. You know, it's kind of just a fun midweek Magic event, so we're going to have plenty of chances to actually try and win some games. So we can always change the deck if this one doesn't work. Right. So we do have our mana fixing, so we are splashing that 1 black card. Sculpting Steel as well is interesting, right? And Platoon Dispenser, so we managed to get all the artifacts. We've got a 1, 2 and a 3. I guess we just drop copy Energy Refractor and draw another card. Maybe not the best thing to do. We could always, cause later on we could copy Platoon Dispenser. Might be a bit better somehow. And yeah, we can sacrifice that for 2, and then unearth it and sacrifice it for 3, which might be good. We need to draw some land, maybe. This draws us a card. That's pretty cool. That's another land. Okay, cool. So we've got a turn 4 play here. Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia. Okay. We might want to hold Sculpting Steel for a while. So I think I'm going to play Evolving Wilds, Find the Swamp. And sort of do nothing, I guess. We could draw a card of Combat Courier, sort of block and sacrifice. So this adds 2 mana. So only creature spells and abilities. You get power 5 creature. She gets +1/+1, and you get to untap it. Okay, I'm thinking, I don't know. Yeah, I've got 2 mana hanging around. I think I just want to sacrifice this guy. Good. That is a healthy amount of land that we have now. We can tap down the Gwenna with this, or we could maybe tap down the big creature that he casts. We'll play this Artifact Soldier. Yeah, this is pretty amazing. I imagine it'll run into some removal. Oh, hello. Like, cute little card. Bit of mana fixing. Bit like my energy refractor, I guess. If he taps out, we're definitely going for a Platoon Dispenser, I think. Oh, that was curious. He didn't do anything with that mana. He just wanted to draw a card, I guess. Okay. Do I want to do anything pre-combat? Now, there is a potential problem. But I think I'm okay with him trading off here. I'm going to swing in with this guy. It just means I won't draw a card off Platoon Dispenser if he does trade off, which suggests that maybe I should do something different if he does that. Okay, guys, gift. Good. Well, we have got that out of his hand. Unearth is a sorcery. Right. So that could be an option, just to draw a card for 3 mana. I could take a little risk and go for the Platoon Dispenser. I don't draw a card off it, but he's down to 3 cards. He has a big creature here, and that's untapped. 6/4 haster, that's impressive. Okay. We can take the damage. I think no blocks. He's got 1 green mana untapped. I wonder if I can just attack with this. I'm gonna risk it. Attack with the Platoon Dispenser. Does he want to block? Okay, fair enough. And the best move here, actually, is Sculpting Steel on a Platoon Dispenser. It's pretty insane. Let's Weakstone Subjugation on Blitz Automaton. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Right. And I think we're done there. And we'll draw 2 cards, which is pretty good. Definitely a good idea to play the Sculpting Steel, I think. Okay, yep. No blocks. Okay. We have the Dragon Engine. Feel like that could be a pretty good thing to do, or that we could play the Desynchronize. Yeah, maybe just do the Desynchronize on this guy. Okay, we don't need any more lands, so let's put these on the bottom. That is on the top for him. Okay. Oh, what is that? Mightstone. The Mightstone and Weakstone. So that's let him draw 2 cards. Oh, he can give something a -5/-5. So this is just too tough. And he can still play Gwenna. And that melds with Urza, Lord Protector. Oh, I see. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Right, we've got a counterspell. Let's not forget that. Let's play something that costs 4, and then we'll have enough left for the counterspell. We've got 2 extra cards. And then we can swing with the Platoon Dispenser. And we should still draw a card, and this guy will grow. Everything's groovy. Very cool. Okay, exile. With that one, yeah, we will counterspell that. We did it. Okay. We might have a viable control deck here. And we get a rare card. Ah, IV, Lethal Spell Thief. Nice. It's my second one, I think. Okay, it's a bit of a slow hand. We'll keep it. We don't have that many 2-drops anyway, so this is just a normal hand, really. Right, we're on the draw. Oh, we've got our favourite card. That's cool. We might need to play the creature out as a blocker early. Cool, we've got a 4-drop. That's nice. Oh dear, what is this? Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. That can't be good. 3/3 for 3. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. One of your opponents? It's, oh right, so his own creatures, right. I understand now. So all of these creatures basically get to draw if they do combat damage to me. 7 mana, discard X, exile tops X of target opponent's library, play lands. Okay, that's nice. So this is he gets to do something absolutely ridiculous, but that's absolutely fine. So he's going to hit me and do 3 damage. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to play Third Path Savant because he'll probably use removal on this guy. And then he'll have 1 less removal spell for the Scrapwork Cohort, who might actually trade off with this guy. But it's... And then we still got the Platoon Dispenser after that, so... So I should pay 1 life and draw 1 card here. Mishra's Onslaught. Okay, so he's made 2/1/1s. Nice. So yeah, that he's going to really manage to make the most of Gix. But I can make 2 blockers with this guy, which is quite good. I expect the removal spells to come out now. Yeah, Gix does make my Union of the Third Path look pretty stupid. Okay, so Power Stone's Fracture. Okay, he had to sacrifice something to do that. Isn't all that bad. It's already a kind of an emergency situation. I think we've got to double block this guy. And if he's got another instant removal card, that's absolutely fair enough. He just gets to win. But he gets to win if we don't block out as well, so okay. Oh yeah, I actually get to one of my guys to survive that. That's pretty nice. Let's see, we could play the Platoon Dispenser. We could unearth and swing with this guy. We could try and... No, I think we'll play the Platoon Dispenser, and fingers crossed he does not have any other removal cards, which is probably a terrible idea. Okay, he's going to run into this card a lot, I think. Okay, sure. Okay, we have a Deadly Riposte. That'd be good against a other creature you control. God damn it. So this gets to swing in for 3 damage, I guess, and make a token. We could just play a 3/2, which feels terrible. I'm going to cast... Let's cast Stern Lesson. See if we can get a land and play it. Let's discard a card. Maybe we discard the Great Desert Prospector. That's definitely quite cool. Because we don't have that many creatures. Oh yes, the Ravenous Giga Mole. Yeah, we saw this. Pretty cool, definitely. So Phyrexian Dragon Engine, that seems pretty good as well. So melds with Mishra, claimed by Gix. Okay, there's the planes. Okay, we can play a Dragon Engine. 2/2 double strike. When it ends the battle from graveyard, you may discard your hand if you do draw 3 cards. Okay. Alright. Alright. We could play it a little bit cagey. Deadly Riposte and Union of the Third Path might be the way to go. Rather than walking into his next removal spell. We'll see if we can get... We can build up some resources first. Mishra's Juggernaut, 5/3, okay. Can unearth for 6, nice. Pretty aggressive deck we got here. I'm thinking, let's play it. Yeah, we've got our we can answer that with Sculpting Steel and just copy it. That's what I'm thinking. Gix Command, another rare card. Okay, return 2 creature cards to your hand. Yeah, let's counterspell that rare. So the other rare he had was Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. Done pretty well in hitting his rares here. Okay, cool. Zephyr Sentinel's got flash. He's still got 4 cards in hand. Do I want to unload and play the Dragon Engine? Because I can play Zephyr Sentinel. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I can save it with the Zephyr Sentinel. That makes a lot of sense. Right, let's do that. Unfortunately, this, yeah, it doesn't stay as a Mishra's Juggernaut in the graveyard. That would be an alchemy thing. Okay, bit of card selection. Okay, gets 2 cards off the top. Chooses one of them. That's next until next turn to play it. So yeah, mountain. Okay. It's got double strike. He kind of wants to empty his hand before he uses this one. Okay, yeah. Draw a card, lose 1 life. Seems reasonable. Okay, my turn. Good. We like land drops here, I think. So, we are going to cast a spell to pump up my Dragon Engine. Cool. Let's do that. Let's try and unearth this guy. See if that counts as a spell. It does not count as a spell, I guess because it's an ability. And we'll swing in with these 2. Could actually bounce that back to my hand with Zephyr Sentinel, but maybe I want to protect Ramos the Dragon Engine. Okay, yeah, that's 7 mana. I'm still winning the race here. I think it's probably good to chump block like that. Stop 6 damage. Okay, this draws me a card, that's good. No colours in that spell, so... Oh, there's a swamp, that's quite good. Okay, right. Okay, unearth that for 6, that's a lot of damage. That's 11 damage. That's got trample. Okay, I should survive this. It's only got 1 red mana left. Don't think there'll be a 1 red mana removal spell for, at least for, not for Ramos Dragon Engine. So we play this and we don't bounce anything. And we've got 8 damage in the air. Submit 0. We could Mightstone animation as well. That's fun. And attack. Nice. Well, let's see what he's got for 1 red mana. I did it. Very sweet. That was against some quite scary rares. Cool. This is my third copy of the of this spider. That's cool. Okay, the Combat Courier we have. We can sack it for a card on turn 2. We have Energy Refractor as well. I think this is a keep. We've got 2 card draw things. Monastery Swift Spear is back. Okay. Oh, good. Standard is going to be fun. We can't cast Thopter Mechanic, of course. Okay. Oh, there's the blue mana. That's good. Right, play a Thopter Mechanic. And we're gonna get beaten down for another turn. We'll see if he kills the Thopter Mechanic. We do have Weakstone Subjugation to try and slow him down a little bit. Okay, he's only got 2 land. That makes me feel better. We could... Let's play an energy refractor first. And let's tap down his grizzly bear. And let's swing in for 4. And we could just copy the refractor to draw another card off Sculpting Steel, and this gets to be a 4/3. Yeah, we could prison sentence that guy, I suppose. Let's play... No, let's play the third path, Savant. Let's swing for 4. He hit his third land. Let's see what he's got. Okay, sure. I'll block. Let's see your combat trick. Aha! Moment of Defiance. It lets you draw a card as well, nice. And handy that you get lifelink. Pretty good combat trick. Yeah, it's got prison sentence on the... No, it's a bit over the top. Sculpting Steel, though, on Energy Refractor to draw a card. So I pump that guy up a bit. Yeah, that seems fine. And one turn there. Puts anything serious out, we will prison sentence it, I think. Not that scared of the Swift Spear. Maybe he's got a whole... Maybe he's got like 5 of these in the deck. That could be annoying. Okay, Sibling Rivalry. Explain to me what that does. Can I click on the card? Okay, right. Sure. He can control that till end of turn. It's a bit, you see, he doesn't have his sacrifice thing anymore. So I'm going to take 6, I guess. Sure. Okay, my turn. There's the Platoon Dispenser. Okay. See how many of these he's got. Oh, I get to draw a card. That's nice. Can hit me for 5, I guess, with this. I won't board. Yeah. I won't really want to block it. Well, unless I'm could be taking lethal. So he could hit me with for 6 if he's got one of these on the Platoon Dispenser. Mystic Forge, okay, that's getting pumped up. Artifacts and color spells, top of the library. 1 life to exile the top. Yeah, I think I block it, to be honest. Okay, go ahead and prison sentence your dude. Get those lands to the bottom. I don't need the swamp because I've got the refractor. Nice, okay. Cradle Clear Cutter. Oh, like reference to Gaia's Cradle. Can make lots of mana. Right. Pretty cool. I am just going to check. I think because of the reset for Brothers War, yeah, I can get another win. And I am just going to play one more of this deck because it's quite fun. Well, we'll see how we do this time, but it's been pretty good so far. Okay, we can find that swamp. Yep, I think maybe that'll work. Stern Lesson gets us a Power Stone token. That's very important for the Mightstone's animation. He's got Vigilance. That's irritating. Let's play the white mana out. Probably got, well, maybe we can discard a land is what I'm thinking. Let's see, what does, whenever you get an artifact, that gets a boost. That's a 2/2. Oh wow, that lets you get 2 lands into play. For 3 mana, I guess. I guess it's costing you 6 mana in total. Pretty decent. So this is instant speed. Springleaf Drum. Oh yeah, I've heard of this. Pretty good ramp card. So this is pretty low to the ground aggro we've got here, fair to say. And you don't have to tap this to find your basic lands. So if I tap that down, it's he just sacrifices it. Okay. Right, let's do the Stern Lesson. Get rid of an island. Okay. So we can animate this to make a 4/4. That's quite good. I feel like Scrapwork Cohort might be even better because it makes 2 creatures. It's a bit more expendable as well. I see. I still get my 1/1. What's that do? Just a quick bounce spell, sure. Now, I guess I want to tap. It's terrible though, because these both have got nice abilities. I'm going to go ahead and not tap down the Burnished Heart. There's a Prince of Krug, 4 mana. Artifact creatures get +2/+2. Oh, that's nice. Okay, we'll block the 2/1. At least we can take that out, I guess. Okay, so might be forced to just do Weakstone Subjugation on that. And then you can sacrifice it, and that's fine. Let's not pay 3. Right. We're only on 6 life. Scrapwork Cohort gives me 2 blockers. Mightstone's animation gives me a 4/4. Maybe it's the last time we'll be able to get away with Mightstone animation. And it draws us a card, so that's quite good. Just going to sacrifice that, funnily enough. Did we stabilize? Did we stop him attacking? He's got another Urza, Power Stone Prodigy. Okay. Okay, we've hit 6 mana. We don't really want to... Okay, draw and discard. Okay, whenever you discard artifact cards. So that's not super scary, honestly. We could, of course, just play the Dragon Engine. He's out of cards. It's a big 4/4 flyer. Yeah, he'd have to top deck something. When we hit 7 mana, we can play Gixian Puppeteer and card draw, which will be lovely. Oh, protection from multicolored. Okay. 3/4. I see, yeah. Yeah, the Urza guy is kind of obnoxious. He's making, of course, 3/3 creatures every turn. This is a 4/2. Do we trade off here? It's going to be irritating, I think. I think it's a fair trade. We can't really take 4 damage. Right, 7 mana, so we can do Gixian Puppeteer. We got a creature we can bring back by any chance? We don't have any creatures we can bring back. That's annoying. We've got 7 mana. Well, I like this combination. Gixian Puppeteer and that Union of the Third Path gets me a bunch of life. do I swing in, is the question. We're going to get absolutely battered by these artifact creatures if we swing in. And we're only on 12 life. So this can make 2 Power Stone tokens. That seems good. Yeah. See, that seems pretty good as well. Springleaf Drum. This guy gets bigger when we draw extra cards. Okay. I think we're waiting to hit 8 mana so we can desynchronize and play a 3-drop on the Urza. Okay, good game. Okay, I think that's the 4th win. So let's have a look at the deck. So it went 4-0, so I think my instinct to go with Union of the 3rd Path was maybe right. Go for a bit more of a control, mid-rangey control deck, and try and get out our Platoon Dispenser and Ramos Dragon Engine, and Gixian Puppeteer as well, with a bunch of card draw effects. Yeah, so it wasn't. I mean, that last deck was quite fast. I was a bit worried about the previous deck, but he obviously missed the 3rd land drop. But that deck was a bit scary with Urza making 3/3 creatures. I think he had a shot in that game, but he was making me think. I was spending a long time on my turn, and I think he just wanted to get into the next game. But yeah, having a 6/6 creature in the air and Gixian Puppeteer, I guess, is a pretty strong position. So what worked here? I think, yeah, fan of the Combat Courier, so it's a bit of emergency card draw. We've got a lot of card draw payoffs. A lot of these, if you look at Thopter Mechanic, when you draw your 2nd card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Thopter Mechanic. So we had a few of those. Thopter Mechanic, Lat-Nam Adept, yeah, Gixian Puppeteer as well. And then we've got a lot of things which let us draw extra cards. So Platoon Dispenser. If you control 2 other creatures, you draw a card in your end step. We didn't manage to activate our 3rd Path Savant with 7 mana, but it seemed like a good option to have. We've got Stern Lesson and Union of the 3rd Path to give us some more card draw there, and then we've got some removal. Prison Sentence and Weakstone, Subjugation and Deadly Riposte. So yeah, probably about the right amount of removal and decent number of threats as well. We had Zephyr Sentinel to try. At one point we were using that to potentially protect Ramos Dragon Engine, bounce it back to my hand. So that was quite a good option to have. We never actually saw Harbin, Vanguard, Aviator, but a 3/2 flying for 2 mana seems excellent. I don't regret Energy Refractor, so that's another source of card draw, of course. It fixes for the Gixian's Puppeteer splash, because we're only running 1 Swamp and 2 Evolving Wilds, so it's good to have maybe a 4th source. We didn't get around to playing Airlift Chaplain, but it seems like a nice cheap flyer with a bit of card advantage thrown in. We managed to use Urza's Rebuff quite effectively. I think we cast this a couple of times to stop something very nasty. Sculpting Steel was actually well worth playing, even if it was only copying an Energy Refractor and drawing me an extra card. it was pretty good. We did copy the Platoon Dispenser once, and that allowed us to draw 2 cards at the end of the turn and just have an overwhelming board presence as well. Scrapwork Cohort, actually really good because it's making 2 creatures for you. A bit like with the stat lines involved here, it reminds me of the Rural Recruit, I think from Crimson Vow. You get a 1/1 dude with training and a 3/1 pig. So instead of training, this has got the unearth ability, so you can bring it back from the graveyard with haste, but it gets exiled at end of turn. But you still get to keep that 1/1 soldier artifact, so that's quite nice. Lat-Nam Adept, yeah, we mentioned that, this guy, so yeah. Basically a hill giant that gets bigger. Seems fine. Mightstone's animation, we used that in the last game to make a 4/4 out of a Power Stone token, and it draws you a card. So this is this is good. This is definitely good. Gixian Puppeteer seems really good. So it does remind me a lot of Sheoldred, but it only triggers off your second card draw every turn, and then you do the 2-point drain life. And I guess it's only a 4/3, but it's got this payoff if it dies. It's got a death trigger, so you can get a creature back from the graveyard. So, pretty good card all round. Great Desert Prospector. I don't think we ever played this, but yeah, I still think it's good. It can make you a lot of Power Stone tokens. I think it was one of those, we had him and no creatures in play, so we ended up discarding him. Platoon Dispenser, pretty amazing. Never actually made a soldier token with this, because we had other things to do, but awesome card. Gives you card draw, makes creatures, it's got a big body, it's got 6 toughness, so it's very hard to kill. Yeah, great card. Desynchronize, expensive removal spell, gives you Scry 2 though as well, so not bad. And Ramos Dragon Engine, big flyer that gets bigger, and you can get 10 mana out of it sometimes, which is very interesting. If it's when it's a 9/9, you can get 10 mana out of it. Gets a counter for every color of spell you cast. This reminds me of the Niv Mizzet Reincarnated, or whatever it was called. Seems to go with that card somehow. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. First attempt at Brothers War. There's lots of card draw things, and there's lots of soldier tokens and power stones. It's I think it's interesting. Anyway, I think that is a video, so thanks for watching.